Good evening and welcome to Security Dragon. One of the things I'm going to be doing tonight is showing you how to run PCGen. PCGen is a character creator that allows you to build characters for a number of systems. In this particular instance, we're going to be showing you how to build a character for Pathfinder, and we will be going on from there. Of course, I am joined by Von Marcus. He is going to be joining me in this game, and hopefully some others will as well. But for right now, let's just get started. This is my desktop, as you can see, and let's see what we can learn. Now, as your game loads up, it's going to come up with this screen. And this screen is going to prevent you from doing much of anything until you click on the tip of the day. And the tip of the day...
I turned that off.
You can turn that off by clicking right here. Click on close and you don't have to worry about it ever again. And now it comes to, well, what kind of game are you going to play? You can play 3.5 by clicking on the advanced sector, going to the game, and finding 3.5 edition. The problem is that there are only two sources available for it. And it's not that they're bad sources. There's quite a bit in there. But there just isn't a lot to actually run with. And I don't have a lot of stuff put in there, so that's why we won't be running it. It's not that it's impossible to run. It's that there's a lot of work that has to be done beforehand.
Oh, because you do a lot of your running from this even through the game and everything as well.
Yes, there is something I'm going to be running called PCGen, which is part of the actual game, and I'm also going to be using this to give me certain things that you guys are going to be running into. But there's a reason why I decided to go with Pathfinder instead of something else.
Okay.
So,
because I figured if you had all the books for it, and then we were just doing it over Discord or whatever. I'm like, oh, I got all the 35 books.
Well, you'll understand why I'm doing it this way. And of course, there are reasons for everything that I'm doing here. So for new players, you're going to want the Pathfinder RPG for players. That will give you these source books to really run from: Core Rulebook, Advanced Player's Guide, Advanced Race Guide, Bestiary 2, Player Options Only, Ultimate Combat, Ultimate Magic, Ultimate Equipment, Ultimate Intrigue, Ultimate Campaign, and Advanced Class Guide. Now, I have all of these books, so if you don't know what you want to do, then obviously you can talk to me. I can get you the information that will allow you to actually use what you want. So, and then you just click Load, and you'll see at the bottom of the screen there'll be an orange progress bar, and that will load everything on there. There's a reason why I'm doing it in the way that I am, and it will make sense at the end. At least I hope it will. So while we wait for that to load, you'll see this OGL license 1.0A show up, and that you can just shut down because that's not a problem. That's only if you load things that are from official sources, which we're not using. And now you'll see at the top that you can click on New, Open, or Party. Now, I don't have a party set up yet. I don't have anything like that to worry about. And all this is to install new things. Now, there's something here called PCGen, which I'm going to be using to keep track of everybody. But for now, we don't have to worry about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on New. And that will bring you up to this screen. It does look a little confusing, but it is definitely something that is going to make sense a lot more over time. So the first thing you want to do is you want to pick a name. And this has the unique opportunity of having quite a few options available to you if you can't come up with a good name on your own. So you can choose from Fantasy Craft. That's just a normal fantasy name. Fantasy Dwarven, Elven, Gnomish, Half-Elven, Half-Organ, Human, other races, Ancient, Early Middle Ages, Gunpowder, Late Middle Ages, Renaissance, and Horror or Modern. Now we're going to be playing this in Early Middle Ages, so you can choose from there, or you can choose from any of the fantasy. I'm going to choose just Fantasy Craft. I'm going to choose a female, and you can choose from any of these. So there's a Drake, Dwarf, Elf, Giant, Goblin, Human, Ogre, Orc, Perch, Rootwalker, Saurian, and Unborn. I don't know what all these. I've never heard of Root Walker or Saurians before, at least as far as names are concerned. But none of those are important. Just find something that might sound interesting. So I'm going to choose Elf in this situation. I'm going to click on Generate, and you have Rythus Springseeker. And there's no real meaning to it. There's no real pronunciation. Of course, you can change the way things look or the way things sound, and that's fine. But since we're only looking for a name right now to show you the basics of it, you just hit OK. And you are a PC character. You're a player character. That's what that means. You're going to go down to the gender. Genders are already filled out as female. You are either right or left-handed. And this is a part that a lot of people miss when they use this, is what is your alignment? The alignment is your particular way of seeing the world. Are you a rules follower that believes that even if you don't agree with it, right is still right? Do you believe that you're generally good, but sometimes you have to take the law into your own hands? There are certain things that you have to decide when making a character follow a particular path. So I'm going to choose neutral good just as a way of starting this, and then we're going to go over here to method. Method is your ability to choose these stats. Now, these stats that are on here may look like they're fine. I don't think you want a constitution of 5 unless you want to spend the majority of your time in a bed. In the bad way, not the good way. And I don't know why I'm having this kind of problem, so let me fix this. Go to cancel. Let's move that over, move it back, and there we go. It's fixed. That is probably a problem I'm going to have to talk to the developers about. So again, we go to method, and we're going to have this problem again. And I don't know why it's happening. But as we go over here, we're going to go to standard 46, drop the lowest, which that'll make sense in a minute. And then when I hit OK, I'm going to move this again so it fixes the problem. And then we're going to go to roll. And roll is going to give me the following numbers. So 13, 5, 8, 15, 9, and 16. I'll give you one opportunity to re-roll it because I don't understand why you're having those problems. So here we have 14, 18, 12, 9, 10, and 7. Those aren't great rolls, but they're not terrible rolls. So we're going to move forward from there. That's really great for a person who is pretty light on their feet, but not really much else. Really great with ranged weapons, not so great with, reading. Now, in order to make sense of everything that you've just chosen, you have to choose a race. This tab right here is the race tab. And as you can see, we have no races available whatsoever. There's not a single one that you could possibly choose, so you have to choose what they tell you. Now, of course, you can play a normal dwarf, you can play a normal elf, you can play whatever you really want from the normal stuff, and they all have something called a level adjustment. So before you go crazy and say, I want to play a half dragon, half giant, you have to realize there's certain things you have to consider.
Yeah, well, it's only listing the 0 level adjustment ones.
Yeah, it's only listing those. Because right now, the only thing you can do is access level 0 creatures. But if I went to here and I gave myself a whole bunch of monster levels, which you can do. Let's see if we can find it just to give you an idea here. Yeah, as you can see, there's no class availability either, so you just play. I think everybody plays a fighter, and you hit things with a stick until they break, right? Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of opportunities available to you, so what you start with isn't necessarily going to be what you end at. So we'll go to races, or we can go to template. Template is something you are, if you want to play like a really advanced creature.
Oh, yeah.
This is something that that gives you an additional 4 to strength, 4 to dexterity, 4 to constitution, that kind of a thing. There's certain limitations that are going to come with that. It doesn't mean you can play a colossal dragon and be able to breathe after certain things. But there are definitely available certain things available to a character based on what they want to be able to do. So go back to races. Let's just choose an elf to choose an elf. So we go select race. We go back to summary, and stunningly, look, the race of elf, neutral good, female, medium, elf shows up there, and so on and so forth. Now we look at the next thing that you have to consider. It tells you right down here things to be done. Select bonus languages, select class, and add a level. The bonus languages thing, I don't understand why that's there, because you only add languages when you know what the hell you're going to do. So, the first thing you want to do is choose a class. These are your classes. Now, obviously, there's no classes available. Everybody's going to play a fighter, right? No. You can make a change based on your particular assumption. So, in this particular case, we have a neutral good elf. So, let's go with a druid. The druid is going to show you the type of character it is, the hit dice, so the number that you're going to roll in order to figure out what your health is. The abbreviation is a DRD. The class type is a player character. It's a divine. I mean, all these things are right there. And your base stat is wisdom. Now you go back to summary. You look at wisdom. You got a 14 wisdom. What the hell? I don't understand why it gave you all that. But this is what would happen if you decided to, take off advanced creature, because that's didn't allow me to do what I wanted to do. But see, even when you mess up, things show up. So even though we're looking at a really impressive elf there as a ranger, he wouldn't really do so hot as a druid, because he only has a wisdom of 10. So when we go back to the class, we think about that. Well, what are we going to do? What could we use strength or dexterity in order to be able to do? And the answer is you could choose a ranger, a rogue, or in this particular case, a samurai. Any of those would probably accomplish it. Because if you look at samurai, it's a D10, and the base stat is really based on whatever. But the ranger, its base stat is wisdom, not as effective. The rogue, the base stat, it doesn't say, but it is dexterity. That's typically their best thing. There's also a ninja. I didn't put it in there right. You can do a hunter. You can do all these different things. I'm really quite interested to see how people are going to change what they want to do. So in this particular case, we're going to make a hunter character. Once, as this is sound, level up warning. Are your abilities set as you'd like them? Once you've added a level, bonuses from ability scores are not always retroactive. Show for each new character. I'm going to go with yes, just so we're aware of what we're doing. And what's going to happen is the first time you choose a class, you're going to get a free set of clothing. Now, we're looking at a hunter. What is a hunter going to be able to do to keep themselves comfortable in what they're doing? You're typically going to want to choose a cold weather outfit, an explorer's outfit, or a traveler's outfit. In this particular case, we're going to do an explorer's outfit. So you go add. And what that gives you is a set of clothes. So it includes sturdy boots, leather breeches, or a skirt, a belt, a shirt, perhaps with a vest or jacket, gloves, and a cloak. Rather than a leather skirt, a leather over tunic may be worn over a cloth skirt. Clothes have plenty of pockets, especially the cloak. The outfits also have any extra accessories you might need, such as a scarf or wide-brimmed hat. So you're not walking out of there in nothing but your skin. And then you're going to have this show up. And what it's going to do is on the first level, you always have the maximum level of hit points. So you're going to have 8 hit points, because that's in this particular case, that's what you rolled. And you're going to get 6 skill points. And I'll explain skill points in a second. So you pull that down. And right now we have a level 1 hunter, but we start this at a level 3 hunter. So we click on 2 more levels there, and you hit add levels, and now you're going to get the exact same thing to show up over here. I don't know why this thing has decided to hate me, but I'm going to change this to a 4 and to a 6, because I don't understand why you get the 1s. But you click on close, and as you can see, you got level 1, 2, and 3 there. Now we go back to your summary. Your summary now shows that you are a level 3 hunter, and you have strength of 14, dexterity of 20, constitution of 11, and wisdom, and so on and so forth. Now you're gonna want to look at the things over here to be done. Skill points remain to be spent. Elf Rachel subtype remains to be selected. Favorite class remains to be selected. Blah, blah, blah. All these different things. Now, it doesn't matter whether you know what a hunter does just yet, because it will come. What we're looking for here is, what does a hunter want to be able to do? But more importantly, what is the subtype that we're looking at here? So we look at elf, and we're going to just click the subtype remains to be seen. So are you an Arctic elf? Arctic elf gives you the ability to last for weeks or whatever in cold terrain. They have dark vision, desert runner, elemental resistant, and alternative racial traits. Dusk elf, they have the ability to see a lot more effectively in the dark, and they tend to be more silent. Savage elf, they don't have the ability to really speak with people, and tower elf are the normal kinds of wizards and stuff like that if you're going to go that route. Or you can go no racial subtype. All of these have advantages, all of them had disadvantages. In this situation, you're going to go no racial subtype because you're not in an area where that would be tremendously helpful. And so there's a trait that comes with it, and you can choose any one of these as a trait. Now, each one of them has a particular bonus, so if you click on Arcane Focus, it'll tell you what that is. Some elven families have long traditions of producing wizards or arcane spellcasters, that they raise their children with the assumption that each is destined to be a powerful magic user. With little need for mundane concerns such as skill with weapons, elves with this racial trait gain a +2 racial bonus on concentration checks made to cast arcane spells defensively. Probably not going to be doing that because, hey, guess what? You can't cast spells. So, if you're looking for some of the things that are really going to help you, I'd go with like elven immunities. Elves are immune to magic sleep effects and get a +2 racial save bonus against enchantment spells and effects. A really good thing to have. If you look at fleet-footed will give you are naturally lithe and agile. Some are also naturally speedy and have a strong desire to rush into situation rather than worry about looking ahead. Elves with this racial trait receive run as a bonus feat and a +2 racial bonus on initiative checks. This racial trait replaces keen senses and weapon familiarity. When you look down at keen senses, elves receive a +2 bonus on perception and skill checks. This is a very, very valuable skill. If you're a Lightbringer, some of them revere the sun, moon, and stars, and so on and so forth. Elves with intelligence 10 or higher may use light at will as a spell-like ability. It's a really, really good thing to have because you're going to find yourself in a dark situation more often than maybe you want. Low light vision. They can see twice as far as humans in conditions of dim light. Silent hunter. Elves are renowned for their subtlety and skill. Elves with this racial trait reduce the penalty for stealth while moving by 5 and can make stealth checks while running at a -20 penalty. Normally you get a horrible penalty and you cannot possibly hide while you're running. But with doing that, perhaps that's something that you can do, or you get less of a punishment. A lot of elves will use a longbow, a rapier, or a shortbow. So you can treat any of these weapons as a martial weapon, even if you don't already have the skill to use it. So that's a very good thing to have. So any of these things can be used in order to give you bonuses. For this particular situation, I'm going to give myself elven immunities. Just because there will be situations in which that would be tremendously helpful. Oh, and it tells me I can't have it. So these are the ones you start with. You have all of these, so you can't remove them. You already have it. So you go back to, then we look at traits. Traits, some of these traits will help you, and some of them will hurt you. All of them are explained down here, so I'm not going to go through every single one of them. But they give you the ability to make your character more unique to what you want, rather than what you what you have as a something that makes you different. So I'm going to go with attached, and you click on traits. Traits will give you the ability to do something positive as well. So for each drawback you can also get a trait. So in this particular situation, I'm going to go with let's say a child of nature. You get a +1 bonus on knowledge nature checks for free, and a +2 bonus on survival checks to find food and water. You don't have to worry about where that goes, so you're fine there. And then what's going to pop up is a skill choice. Do you want this in nature, or do you want this in survival? I'm going to put it in survival. And hit OK, and there it goes. You find it right there. Click on miscellaneous. Are you suffering from a sickness? Again, something that makes you really different than other things. Disassociation. These are things that make your character different. Class features. I am a hunter. I also happen to... where's hunter? Yeah, there we go. I don't know why it gave me that, but... class features... No, class features. Okay. So it doesn't give you any class features, but it does give you an animal companion. And the archetype is, are you a courtly hunter? Courtly hunter shows down here that they're in the wildest part of the world. They make their homes in cultured urban environments. They and their animal companions are more refined than typical hunters, using their skills to navigate the winding paths of courtly intrigue as surely as other hunters find trails in the wilderness. If you are a packmaster, you can get a whole bunch of animals eventually. Primal companion, you can only have specific types of creatures that are going to follow you. Roof runner is you tend to be more of a thief, that kind of a thing. Our verminous hunter is you tend to follow things that are on the lower end of things. So you get spiders and mantises and moths and things like that that really do properly fit your particular style. So in this particular situation, I'm going to go with a packmaster because that just sounds cool. And there you go. There's a packmaster shows up. So you go back to the summary, and not much will have changed, but you will see that, hey, your character seems a lot more fleshed out than when we first started. So we have common and elven as languages that you start off with. That's not really anything to put in there yet. So skill points remaining to be spent. These over here, you'll see on the right, things that you can choose. It'll tell you which are class skills. So climb is a class skill, and diplomacy is not. But handle animal is a class skill, heal is a class skill, intimidate is a class skill. But linguistics is not. But perception is. So all these different things have certain things that appeal to you as a user. The difference between a class skill and a skill you're not trained in is it takes 2 times the points in order to go up 1 level in a particular skill. So if you look over on the right side of this screen, you will see that you have ranks of 0 in everything. And the maximum number of ranks you can have is 3. So while your abilities, as you can see right here, may allow you to go above 3, the most ranks that you can put into anything right now at level 3 is 3. So, in this particular case, let's assume this person is can climb rather well. So you put 2 points in there, and you'll see that it will instantly transfer over to climb. Now you have 2 ranks there. You have a miscellaneous mod and an ability mod. I don't know what the miscellaneous mod, but it will tell me later on. So if we go down here to handle animal, I think I'm pretty good with animals. And it will tell you exactly how many you have remaining on that particular level, and then you go on to the next one. So let's go with a heal, because you want to pay attention to this, because realistically speaking, all these should be 1 at the level you're at in order to say this is what I put my energy into. Perception is critical for a hunter. I mean, absolutely critical for a hunter. So you're going to want to have something like ride if you ever want to ride a horse, and you're going to want something like survival. Now, as you can see, everything is transferred over here, and in some cases, you're actually minus. You get a -2 penalty to intimidate, -2 penalty to perform untrained, -2 penalty to disguise, for diplomacy, for bluff. So bluff is your ability to lie. Now that we're at the at level 2, you can put a +1 on all of these abilities. And there we go. And you're still, now you've got a 10 in ride, even though you don't necessarily have a horse yet. But you have an 8 in survival for find food, and a 6 for just survival in general. You have 6 more points remaining. Let's say you want to put it in perception, but you don't really need any more ride. You can take that point and put it into something else. And in this particular case, we're going to take a class skill of stealth. So now you'll see stealth will boost up to a 9. And even though I was originally doing that, I don't always have to follow the exact same premise on whatever I happen to want to do. So we go to handle animal, we continue to want to see that to go up. Your climb really isn't as important as it was before. So let's boost up your stealth again, because your ability to hide is really quite important. And I'll boost that up to level 3. So as you can see, what'll come over here is now you have an 11 in stealth, and you have 1 more point remaining. Let's put that into something that is not in your ability just yet. It'll give you 1 rank in there, but technically it's not your ability, so you're gonna use it at less of a proficiency as other people. So now we go back to the summary, and it will tell you what else do we have to do to make this character total. You go to favored class. Favorite class. What is it that you are most connected to? Do you want to be out there? Do you want to do something as a fighter? Do you want to be like a ranger? Do you want to be a rogue? Do you want to be a ninja? Do you want to be any of these different things? So let's click on ranger, and it'll go right over here. And then you go back to summary. If you don't know what to do, always go back to summary, and it will tell you. Let's look at feats. Feats are incredibly important. Feats are important because it gives you certain abilities where other people don't have them. So this one right here is incredibly helpful. So alertness is one of my favorite ones. It gives you a +2 perception on sense, motive, and perception. If you have 10 or more ranks on one of these skills, this bonus increases to a +4 for that skill rather than a +2. So this is one of the ones I always choose whenever I play the game. Another one that I use quite a bit is animal affinity if I'm doing something like this. If I'm doing a riding campaign, or I'm using something where I have to deal with animals on the regular, I'm going to want to do something along those lines. In this situation, this particular situation, I don't want to do that. But I'm going to go with something like attune to the wild. So while you are in your terrain, you're going to have to choose a terrain. Your natural healing rate doubles. That's really useful, but not necessarily for what I'm trying to do here. Blind fight gets a +2 bonus for attacking invisible creatures and makes it much harder for them to get the drop on you. A careful sneak is a really, really useful one. You do not need to apply your armor. So if you're walking around with chainmail armor or scale mail or something heavy, then it's going to make sound, and it's going to make your speed lower and lower and lower. This way you can kind of prevent that. So another really good one is combat reflexes. Combat reflexes allow you to make attacks of opportunity when someone else exposes themselves to you. So they do something, they're attacking someone next to you, they don't expect you to do anything, they're not going to protect themselves from you specifically, so now you have the ability to make an attack of opportunity when they do something stupid. Or, of course, there are other things that you can do. And you can go through this entire list, and all of them have a particular thing that's going to give you an ability that others don't have. Endurance. As you can see, there are quite a few feats that are, and all of them have a specific ability for you to eventually use. This is another incredibly good one. If you want to go first in every single battle that you get with, and trust me, you want to go first, you're going to want this particular ability, Improved Initiative. It gives you a plus 40 your initiative checks, and it makes it so you have the ability to make a decision before somebody hits you in the back of the head. So this one, Hunter's Precise Companion feat. By having a companion or by being a hunter, you automatically get outflank or precise shot. Precise shot, if you have a ranged weapon, is remarkably helpful. So I'm going to click on that. And as you look, you go to precise shot, and you can shoot or throw a ranged weapon at an opponent engaged in melee without taking the standard -4 penalty on your attack rolls. And in the first few levels, that's going to be incredibly important. So now we don't know, we're out of points in feat, out of point in Hunter's Precise Companion. So we go back to summary. It'll tell you this is what we're going to use now. Hunter, Packmaster, Teamwork ability remain to be selected. So you click on that. The Teamwork ability, a lot of these things do seem pretty complex. So increase benefit teamwork feat. None of these are going to make sense right now, but they will definitely make sense as you increase the number of animal companions. You can teach them to work together. And these are, you have one animal companion here, and then you have a second one, and I guess you can have up to 3. So there you go. And now you go back to the teamwork ability, and you can get them to work together to do particular things like Woodland Stride and Teamwork feats by 1, or yeah, we've done so everything that's here. You can teach your animals how to do specific things for you, and the more you have with these particular teamwork abilities, the more effective you are. The more you choose your increased benefit, then you can have the more number of feats. And the feats will become important a little later on. So we're going to go back to summary for now. And traits remain to be selected. How many traits do we have? So we have 2 more traits. Let's go to... Oh, I think we already have that one. You can look through here for Hunter's Knack. That one will give you attack rolls against your favorite enemies. And you have 1 more point. So let's go with... No, because you can't make those. What's Seeker do? You're always looking for reward and danger. Get a +1 trait bonus on perception checks. And perception is always a class skill for you. This is an awesome one to have. But not necessarily something that you're going to necessarily want to choose unless it's like right under your nose. So I'm going to choose it just because it does seem like a remarkable thing to have. Now it'll tell you spells remain to be selected. Hunters are divine, so they're going to have specific spells that they can choose. So you'll see a list over here, and you can see that they can know 6, and it'll be a DC of 10 to choose them. So you choose Create Water, Detect Magic, Flare, Guidance, Light, Mending. What the hell? Yeah, that's 6 right there. And you can cast 3 first level spells, but you can't know any yet, so you're kind of screwed there. So you're still just stuck with those levels. So, and then you over here, you click on the Hunter, you click on any of these spells that you want to be able to cast in the day. You can know 6 of them, and you can cast each, and can only add to known spells. That is the known spell. What the hell? Okay, it's not letting me do it. I don't know why. Maybe you have to be higher level for that. So purify mood 6. Okay, we'll go back to that a little later. Now you choose your animal companions. You know, create a new animal companion. And what kind of animal companion do you want to have? These are all the companions. Obviously, there's not any at all. So you're going to choose like a pony. That sounds like a good animal, right? No, I'm joking. So let's go with a hawk. And it will create it at 1 level lower than you. And you can see it automatically does that for you. And you'll see it show up right there. Now, since we have 3 of them, you're going to choose, it'll show 0 of 1 and 0 of 1, so you create another one right here. And let's say, I don't know, Wolverine is awesome. Let's say you have Wolverine show up, and again, the Wolverine will show up as 1 level lower than you. That's just awesome. I want to have a Wolverine, because that's just epic. And of course, as the third one, you're going to choose something else. So let's go with something you grew up with, like, how about a giant wasp? No. There's a dog. We'll do a dog. And the dog, of course, will show up again as the as 1 level lower than you. So now that these have been chosen, you don't have any followers, you don't have any mounts. When you do get them, and you may very well get them, you can add them right there. And now we go back to summary again. See how hard. Now you can go down here at the bottom and put in a name. So this is a hawk. It'll tell you what the abilities are. You don't have to worry about anything other than what's already been put out there. So let's do shift as a name. And then you go over here, and this is your let's do Hank. And for your dog, you can say Toby. There you go. So you're looking at the bottom. There's you. There is your hawk. There is your Wolverine, and there is your dog. So now we don't know what we're supposed to do. We go back to the summary. How about that? Don't have to worry about the teamwork abilities and that kind of a thing. I don't entirely know how that one works yet, but we'll figure it out. So now you have completed everything across the list except for inventory. They have thought of everything. Now you don't have to worry about inventory too much because you're going to start off as an explorer, and I'm going to take care of most of the things that you look at. When I tell you that you pick up something, then you're going to be able to put it in here. So you put in a weapon. Let's start you off with 350 gold pieces. There you go. Your funds of 350. So let's go with a bow. Can't find. There's a short bow. And you can see that each one has a particular cost. So we're going to go with one that's 30, and as you can see, your money just went down. You're also going to have a short sword, just to say you have a short. And obviously, you're not going to be able to pick up everything that you want because you only have 320 gold pieces. But you can pick up something like a bastard sword, or in this particular case, a short sword. There you go. So now you have a short bow and you have a short sword. And you'll have 310 gold left. So now we go up here to close that down so it's not as confusing. You go to hands. Let's say you want gloves. And you already have gloves, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you had 10,000 gold, you get gloves of storing. But obviously, I'm not going to just be throwing money at you, so good luck with that. If you want a hat, other than the floppy one that you start off with, you got to choose that, and there's a magic item right there. If you want to choose a headband, headgear, all of these things are really quite normal. Let's see, where's clothing? So if you want a mask or a wig or something like that, there's obviously a cost that goes along with that. Helmet candle. There you go. Now you can play a kobold. You can buy a mount if you want. And obviously you're going to need some way to ride it, or it's just going to kind of follow you around like whatever. You'll need a harness. And if it's a small thing, you'll need a cage. But it does cost more to have with it. So let's say you want to have... Well, I guess it's going to show you. You can choose the mount later, but I'm not going to do that right now. There's opportunities for basically whatever you want. And I'm going to be able to look at everything that you pick up and basically go from there. So I'm equipping the short bow, and I didn't give you any arrows. So if we go to search up here to arrows, there's regular arrows. They cost 5 copper pieces. And you can... Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. So... Where is it? Yeah. If you go down here, you can buy 100 or sell 50 for that. You can add custom amount. What? That was the wrong thing. And again, there are some bugs to go with this program, but it is an amazing program for what it's really doing. You can buy a number, so we're going to need probably 50 arrows. There you go. Now you have 50 arrows, you have an explorer outfit, a short bow, and a short sword. And equip selected. Equipped. You click on equipped, and it will show you the arrows, and it will show you the hands. So it'll be a short bow right there. And then you go to Explorer Outfit, you go to Equip Selected, and it will go to the torso, and it will show you right there. You don't have to worry about anything else. Everything is taken care of already. So you go to description, you can put in everything about your character, such as a skin tone, hair color, hairstyle, eye color. Just go honey. And there's a reason I'm doing all this specifically. This is brunette. Hairstyle tight, eye color brown, height let's do 650 inches, weight let's do 85 pounds, and region isn't important. Age, let's say you're young, and young for an elf is 55. You can put in your own name there, that kind of thing. You can eventually get a portrait, campaign history, bio description, companions, other assets, magic items, blah, blah, blah. Now you go to temporary bonuses. You don't have any. You go to companions. You already listed that. And here's the big reveal. Character sheet. This will show everything that you can do as a character. It's going to tell you all your proficiencies. It's going to tell you your archetype. It's going to tell you your traits, your special qualities. It's going to tell you everything that you need to know as a character. And as things continue to progress with the character, more will be added to allow you to do what you're comfortable doing. As you look through it, you've noticed that some of your skills have changed. You now have an acrobatics of 6. You didn't have it before. You now have a stealth of 12. You didn't have that before either. Your ride has increased to 11. Certain things that it has been enhanced. You now have the ability to attack with a +8 bonus to hit, where you didn't have any of this stuff before. Put in all your stuff on your short bow. 1d6 damage across the board, and exactly what your bonuses are at range. So if you're within 60 feet, you're going to get the full bonus. If you're 120 feet, that's a pretty long way for a bow. You're still at a +6 bonus to hit. You go down here, it'll show you how much you still have. You still have 307 gold pieces. It'll say what weight you're carrying at 17.5 pounds, and all of the worth of your gear is 42 gold. So as you can see, everything that I have talked about thus far gives you the ability to look at your character in a full capacity. You've got all the spells that I was talking about right there, and you can modify this to do as you're hoping to do. And it'll tell you what all the different spells do and things of that nature. So none of this is set in stone, and you're certainly not going to be limited by, talking to me about things that you want to do. But this particular tutorial is just to teach you how to create a character from scratch. And my name is, of course, Security Dragon, otherwise known as Greater Frost. And if you have any other questions, you know how to get in touch with me, and we can go from there. Thank you very much for joining me for this tutorial, and I hope it was helpful.